Hey everybody, so I want to talk to you guys about Cubic Odyssey and the future of it, as well as a new server I'd like to set up, Empyrion Galactic Survival Reforged Eden 2. And hopefully I get your blessing, and I just want to bounce some ideas with you guys, obviously. So let's start with Cubic Odyssey. So I've been enjoying Cubic Odyssey a lot. We have actually recorded 31 episodes, so we got a little bit buffer right now. Only a couple days worth there, I guess. And like I said, I've been having a lot of fun. Overall, I'm kind of near the end of my Let's Play series, but I'm not going to end it. Normally, I'd get a little bit bored, which I'm kind of getting there, and then I would end a series, but I actually want to see if I can continue going over it over time. So, you know, I might not have a video for a week or even 2 weeks, but as time goes on, I would like to actually, you know, if the devs add some content or new features, I'd like to go back in the game and play with said new content and features. There are two things I'd like to see that change as big ones for me to kind of want to putter around more. One, the main story is actually broken. There is one system I can't do a certain thing. I'm not gonna get into detail. You'll see it in the video, but basically that stops me from actually finishing and working on the main story. So obviously that's, you know, the second one is basically farming credits. Basically, I enjoy farming credits, and I thought it'd be fun to, you know, make $1 million or a couple million and maybe sell, you know, tier 6 and 7 guns and then make some credits. But we found out that no one actually buys tier 6 and 7 stuff. Well, a little bit of tier 6, but very little. That's blue, and then that's blue with the, you know, the fun sparkles basically on it. Basically all the NPCs pretty much end at tier 5. Some do a little tier 6 when it comes to, you know, like maybe one NPC will buy one gun potentially of a tier 6, or a backpack or something like that. But outside of that, it ends there, and that's not like worth farming or fun for it. So basically, I'd like that to be looked at as well, because then I don't mind farming. So, but as time goes on, I'm going to treat it like kind of an MMO. So when they add new content and features, I'm going to go back to the play game and play it. So I like to continue Cubic Odyssey as long as they continue working on the game, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I don't find Cubic Odyssey as exciting of a game to want to start from scratch. I guess if we were to play maybe adventure mode or something where you just didn't have to follow the story, I guess I could understand there. But I would have no interest in wanting to do it all from scratch right now anyways. They would need to add a lot of point of interest. POIs basically are all those construct vehicle, well, not vehicle, but like bases. They're all on the planet and stuff. They would need to add quite a few more to make it more interesting and wanting to start over. And even then, might as well just continue your game and go to new systems, right? But you have the same, maybe 30 of them, and I say 30 because there's probably like 10 variations of, say, the pirate one, and a few variations of the ruins and things like that, but overall they're kind of stamped and they all feel the same, and there's nothing wrong with that. I actually hope the devs do what Empyrion does, add workshop support and actually allow the players to create more gameplay for the devs, and then let them like somehow implement it easily into the game through maybe it's a simple file or something like a scenario like they do in Empyrion. But that's something that would take time, I'm sure. But anyways, like I said, I've enjoyed Cubic Odyssey, and for the first time ever that I've kind of understand or know, I'm going to not stop the series completely. I'm going to come back from time to time, make videos, maybe even continue making some of those patch videos. Eventually the patch videos might get old, but you know, I enjoy doing them and I get to talk about it too, right? So if I'm staying current, it gives me a way to stay current. Now, unfortunately, I don't have like 10 YouTube channels. It's not like I have a Cubic Odyssey channel and things like that. But instead of jumping into a game that you guys would probably just dislike or hate, I thought, let's play some Empyrion Galactic Survival Reforged Eden. And before you hang up, I want you guys to hear and see a bit more about this game, because I think you guys would find it kind of funny how close these games are. In fact, Empyrion Galactic Survival came out with a DLC called The Dark Faction. I'm just going to be honest, I'm not a fan of The Dark Faction. I would have loved to see the devs I don't know. Do something where I can give them money to support their game, but continue working on the base of the game. Let's put it that way, because I'd like to see more support for mod makers, the guys who are making scenarios and things like that, to continue making more content like Reforged Eden 2 and fix some of the problems and base issues and things like that. But obviously they did a DLC hoping they can make a bunch of money, I assume, to then put more money into the game. I don't think it sold as well, and I do apologize to the devs. This is no bearing or insult towards them. I've loved your game. I have like 3,000 hours on it. I'm sure I'll put many hours on it. More. It's just I wish there was somehow more hands-on to the community so they can continue to polish the game, because this game is probably one of my favorite space games out there, mostly because of the construct system and how they can do the scenarios and build these universes, and it's pretty awesome. Anyways, so let's get into Empyrion Galactic Survival. So I want to do a Let's Play series with Reforged Eden 2. I've never actually played Reforged Eden 2 ever. I played a bit of Reforged Eden 1. Even then, I didn't get that far. One of the beauties about Empyrion versus Cubic Odyssey is that they're pretty much similar. So, there's you start, on a planet, you harvest resources instead of, repairing a ship. You can repair. There's actually a broken there's a broken SV and a broken hover vehicle, so you can technically repair a ship, fly off a planet, or what most people do is they'll create a ship and fly off a planet, things like that. And basically you got the galaxy. The galaxy is yours. You can go to literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of star systems with dozens, if sometimes more than dozens of planets in one star system. And I'll show you like the one we're in here in a minute. But it just goes on, and it's quite amazing. It's quite cool, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. You can build ground vehicles, so they're basically called hover vehicles, so kind of like hover. You got your SV, your small vehicle, which lets you fly, so you can fly in space. You can actually warp from within a system, which is really cool. You can fly to the moon, things like that. Then you got your capital vessel, which lets you fly anywhere in space. Of course, you have warp, and it costs fuel and stuff like that as well, but it lets you basically, you can make a home from home if you want. And I don't mean like the one that we have in Cubic Odyssey. I'm talking about freaking huge, like, 500-meter huge ass ships, basically, that are amazing. And then you can make bases. You can make bases on planets, and you can make bases in space. You got little factories you can assemble. The factories are a lot more like what you'd have in Cubic Odyssey, basically a machine. You got your furnace processing material, except with this one, you also have a crafting machine that it takes time to craft. So instead of just clicking the button and you instantly get something, it takes a couple of minutes maybe to craft certain things. But then you can set up multiples and things like that. But it's not like Factorio or even Space Engineers. They make it pretty simple, which I think is good. It gives you that more arcade-ish fun play. Then basically the biggest thing that they have different is something called POIs, or at least we call them POIs. There's probably thousands of them, if not tens of thousands, maybe not within one scenario, but there's probably tens of thousands of them out there. So for example, we do the same POI like dozens and dozens of times. We've done the same ones over and over and over, and we don't get sick of them, but they're tiny and simple. Those type of POIs basically do not exist in Empyrion. There are POIs that you go in to the front doors and you can spend, I'm not kidding you, hours, literal hours, going through a POI, combing through it. There's rare chests, loot, and things like that. They even have like Diablo style type loot. So there's like, oh, I got a machine gun. Well, I got a special machine gun that has even a little bit more better stats, things like that. But the idea is they have loot like that as well. And it just makes it fun raiding these POIs, because these POIs can also have a lot of materials that can help you, your bases, your ships, even these special cores that like you can only get parts through this to help you later on. So raiding POIs is a big part of the game, and they have them in space. They have them on the ground. They even have POIs on the ground where you don't just use your feet and walk around. You actually have a hover vehicle, like you make tanks and stuff, and you kind of raid them and siege them. They have shields on them and stuff like that, so you have to break down the shields and take those out before you can even enter it. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty complex. There is no other game that comes close to this except Space Engineers, but Space Engineers is probably as dry as possible. Where Empyrion's created more of the arcadish feeling of it, it's all about that kind of that RPG arcade element. Where Space Engineers is just more like, oh, this is my cool ship. I spent like a month working on it. I've tinkered with this. It does this cool feature where when you mine, it just spits out the ores, and it just like does really basic stuff like that. Where in Empyrion, it's like, I just made this armada, this fleet of ships, and you know, I go out there and you know, you make a blueprint of it, and that way if it gets destroyed, well, you just print out a new one. Basically, you just keep going, and you know, it's got that more, like I said, arcadish feel to it, which is a lot of fun. I actually want to quickly show you a video from the dev. Now, this is like a landscape and space video, but I want to show you how beautiful the landscapes and stuff are in the game here. Okay, so here you go. I muted the sound because I don't know if there's any copy. So this is Cosmic Shores. He did another video like Cosmic Shores before for Reforged Eden 1, I believe, and it was just a video showing, you know, the world and the galaxy and stuff like that, and I was just showing it. So like, you know, this is the same idea, but it's just showing you the graphics. This is not really showing you the cool POIs that you'll see. This is just showing you the work that they've done to make these living, beautiful, breathing worlds. That's the cool part about this is, yes, the devs themselves made worlds and stuff like that, but the actual people like Raven and, I forget the other, Varios or whatever, I'm bad with names, they're actually redesigning planets and galaxies and things like that. So they're creating their own looks, their views, their vistas, and they're doing this all through procedural generation as well. So like, look at that freaking ice comet, for example, style, like really cool. That was a ship you saw that would be player made. The only thing that's not player made is basically like the NPCs and some drones, but that's an actual, like, it'd be a player made ship. Those are POIs, for example. Some of those can go underground. Oh, there's some POIs. Some of these POIs can go underground forever. So it's not just what you see above ground. They have like chambers underground, a big ice field. It's really cool. So like the vistas, the graphics, they look really good, and it works on most computers. That base would be done by a player. But yeah, it's beautiful. This is a salvage wreck, so you can go in here and you can find them randomly and salvage them and get some loot and stuff, which is really cool. There's another ship there. So literally, I don't know how many they have. Let's just pretend they probably have 1,000 different POIs and vehicles and things like that they've added into the world. So when you're flying around, you might come to your allies or enemies. You might come across these. You know, like, that's the kind of stuff that they've added into this. So they take player creations with permission and stuff, and they add them into their scenarios. And there's literally people who've created entire fleets of similar ships and things like that, where they get added into a faction. So all of a sudden, a faction is born, and it's really freaking cool. But the part that's crazy, like I said, this is all in game. Everything you're seeing here is what Empyrion offers and does. This is not a different engine. This is, you know, this is Empyrion right here. Like, a lot of people don't realize how awesome it is, because some people had played with the janky, you know, intro to it, didn't give the game a try, and closed the game and didn't realize they kept working on it for another like decade, and added a lot of cool freaking things to it. Like, look at that. It's like a huge, like, salvage wreck or something there. Maybe it was like a salvage yard. Isn't that so cool? Yeah, they're basically showing you mostly vistas on this one, obviously. They're showing some stations and stuff, but this is mostly a video, I think, that was showing you the work that they've done with the galaxy itself, rather than the POIs themselves, because they would show you tons of interior content, things like that, right? But it's to show you, like, we created a cool one. This is mining here. Even NPCs mine and stuff, which is pretty cool. That is wicked. There's what the player usually looks like with different armors. So we have the same thing, different armors, different weapons, different tiers of weapons. You know, got rare weapons. You know, they take damage over time. You repair them. They get less That's the downside too. If you repair them, they lose a bit more of their durability. So maybe start at 1,000, and when you get low or break it, you can repair it again. But now it might have only 900 durability, or maybe less than that. So over time, even your best weapons unfortunately become a resource that you would have to reobtain or regain. So either if it's special loot, maybe you have to make it, or even possibly re-loot it again, get some more POIs. So. But there you go. That is awesome. There's the credits, by the way. I'm good. So, yeah, that was Raven who made that. Let me switch back here. So, yeah, that's really cool. Let me quickly show you. So, I'm thinking of doing a server. I just want your thoughts on this. I should probably brought this up earlier. I'm thinking of actually doing a server, and I was going to make a public server. I'm going to do my own base and my own thing. The nice thing is this game has a great protection system, things like that, so you usually don't have to worry about griefing. But, yeah, would you guys be interested in playing on a server? Like I said, I'll be doing my own base, so like don't come and be like, hey, can I live with you? Because that's not something I want to do. Because I'm recording, I got my ADHD, and I'm a busy, parent too, right? So I'm always running away from my computer. But yeah, I was thinking running a public server. I have the hardware and everything for it, so that would be pretty cool. Sometimes I do play with a friend, but I don't think he'll be playing. Unfortunately, I think he's been pretty busy in real life and stuff. But I just want to hear your thoughts on that for fun, just overall. And then, yeah. I think it'd be kind of cool. And if you're going to come on the server, by the way, I want you guys to realize that... Oh, my wife looks concerned. Give me a second. Anyways, I just want you guys to know, like, when you come on to the server and you're like, hey, does anyone want to play? And then no one answers, or they're busy or whatever, and then you log off and never come back. I've seen this literally thousands of times in all the servers and games I've ever played. This is not a really good way of doing it. You can ask us several times if you like, just not every 5 seconds. But, when it says a new player join the server or whatever, you can message them or whatnot. But I'm just saying, like, if you do that, you're never going to find anyone, because no one is usually there. Like, it happens so many times. I've seen it even a dozen times in a single day where somebody comes on, says it, they log off, and like 5 minutes later, somebody comes on and says the same thing. Oh, look at that. You two could have been teammates, but now you two decided not to play the server ever, which that never makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what? But anyways, I'll load up the scenario here for fun. So this is the scenario. You got all these starting areas, which is really cool. You got all these settings as well. So I'm going to keep the settings probably to normal. I think most of it's the same. I don't know if we're supposed to enable or disable the auto miner depletion. It says false here, but I'll ask what they feel like as the devs who make the thing, because I want it similar to what they think. But check mass and CPU and all that's enabled now, which is really nice, so that makes me happy. But yeah, so you have a lot of start areas, some of them extremely hard. Like this one is ultra hard. I think you start in like a prison, which is really cool, so like it's completely different. Or you can do the start, like I like, where you completely start from scratch. Basically, you crash on a planet and you start with nothing, pretty much, some basic items, and then you go off and get started. Basically, go off and mine, grab resources, things like that, and then live your life. But yeah, let's see how this goes here. So like these pictures you're seeing, these are actual stations. In fact, because they're in Reforged Eden, I'm pretty sure when they show you stations and things like this is stuff that's actually done by the NPC side of things. So these are like actual stations that you can visit, attack or trade with. There's trading too, like you can actually go and buy resources from one place, sell it to another. They've made it pretty complex trading system. There's in fact entire spreadsheets and everything on it. But I'll show you just the game quickly. I'm not gonna like go out and kill stuff and farm and stuff like that, but I just wanted to show you the basics. That will be done in my Let's Play series, obviously. But here you go. So we're going to say no to the prologue because we're just going to go through the settings here. So here's the world. Looks beautiful. Here's the map. This is a medium. Oh, there's a large world. They could be very large worlds. And I'm talking about like it takes you like probably an hour to walk across it, if not more. But then you have to remember they're all different sizes, which is kind of cool. They're not like all the same size, and some of them are insane. Some of them you can't walk too far anyways because you would die. It would be so hot out there. No matter what equipment you're wearing, you get incinerated. You got to be in a certain vehicle to actually survive said world, where you can mine and stuff from that vehicle, which is really cool. Over time, you got like you'll have different markers for territorial views and things like that. And then you have your character screen. There's a lot of information here you can check out. Most of it's all just F1 PDA. You start with a knife. Knives are new things. You got survival multi-tool, detector. This you can use for mining, and you put that on your hotbar. This is a detector. You even got a little light. So you can right-click this and turn this into, say, resource mode, and then you can go up to resources. So there's actually resources in the ground, which you can find, like full ores and stuff. Is this a rock? Oh yeah, that's iron. There you go. Yeah, so there's different resources on the surface as well. So there's iron there. This is graphite, for example, things like that. And then you use the scanner, and you'd actually find ore itself. There might not be anything right here, but you'll see heat signatures and stuff like that. So you might have to go out. But when it comes to ores, there's actually quite a few of them. I mean, you have to see, like, look at the scan area we did here. And you have all these ores here. So even if you go based on these little tiny ones, wow, they're giving you a lot of ore now. Wow. Are they really giving you that much? 5. Yeah, this is actually really nice. I guess graphite is probably inflated on purpose. Yeah, graphite. Oh, I don't know. Now I want to find out more than just graphite. Is that silicon? No, that's silicon. Let's check that. 4. Okay. 9? Or is that stacked with the 4? No, that's different. Wow. Okay. Well, obviously they've souped these up a bit. So collecting random ores around the world is not actually bad. And then you can make a survival constructor with that. So you have a constructor built on your suit here. This is a help thing. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it. Where is the survival constructor? Oh, there it is. Some of the icons have changed over the years, so I'm not used to it. So this just requires some ore, so you have to unlock it through your tech tree. So you can just go here, go to miscellaneous, I believe. And yeah, there's your portable constructor. And then you can just build your portable constructor. So this is like your first item that you put in the world that you place, because it will do even more construction. And then you'll build a base or a vehicle, and then you'll build construction, like a bigger constructing thing that actually requires power, and then there's advanced and large ones, and like it just goes on and on and on, basically, right? I think there's the small one, like you see there. There's ones that are on ships, like CVs and SVs, and then I think there is a small one, or maybe they call it a medium one. Then they got like a large one, and then they got like an advanced one. So you go up the chain. It requires more rare resources, things that you usually can't even get on a planet here. And it kind of goes on and on and on, which is really cool. But anyway, so you have your tech tree, which is just full of awesome stuff on here. You can go through this. Some of these go forever, too, by the way. You have all these weapons here, too, but there's actually, like, rare weapons that you can get outside of this, which is really cool. This is the factions. We don't have any factions we've identified yet. These are all the different factions in the world. Here's your PDA. The PDAs are really great. So you got your tutorials, you got your solo missions. The solo missions are great if you want to learn stuff. But this is your Empyropedia. This tells you like so many different things, like trade commodities and how that works. Say you can go down through the Reforged Eden. So what's Reforged Eden about? So you can go through here and about Reforged Eden, troubleshooting, things like that. Table of contents. You probably don't need that. You got galaxy and sectors. Here you go. So it goes on. I guess you're supposed to click up and down. Oh, for chapters. Oh, these ones here. There you go. So there you go. Like, it tells you the different stars. Tells you what kind of resources are in them. So this is like really good information. Every time you're like, where is this? Or how do I do this? What's this faction? Things like that. These are... this is territory and major regions, which is cool. I'll show you those in a minute. But this is where it's at. This is where you get like all your information you can ever ask for. It's really freaking important and really awesome. This is your blueprint system. This is my best friend. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't even be playing Empyrion because I'm not really good at building ships. I don't want to sit there and build a ship. I want to farm the resources. I want to mine. I want to do all that fun stuff, but I do not want to sit there building a ship. That's just not my thing. Well, you can get blueprints. You can get blueprints from friends. You can get blueprints off the internet from the workshop, and you can add them to the game, and you can put them in here and then print them off. And we're talking about some ships that are like insane resources, like this one, 41,000 iron ingots. That's the Albatross. This is like, I think, vanilla Albatross. This is probably not even that good. But that's really freaking cool. Like, you know, look at this. This is following these 54 devices to be unlocked in the tech tree. I love that. They didn't used to do that, so that's really cool. But that's my point. Like, you got these insane ships. These are the ones that just come with this, keep in mind, right? So there's ones on Workshop that are much bigger, much more elaborate, that are just honestly kick-ass and beyond anything. But anyways, yeah, so that's the blueprint. And you can do one for literally everything. So you can do it for bases. Bases include bases on the ground or in space, hover vehicles. You got the small vehicles. Then you got capital vessels, and then, of course, everything. And you can sort them from Workshop and stuff like this. This is your database. This is like everything. They call it the registry. This literally shows me, on this planet, everything I've seen here so far. You can add waypoints showing the galaxy, things like that. Proximity logs. I'm actually shocked that it shows a proximity log for that. Received by broken antenna. Wow. I did not know it would even show those kind of proximity logs. Because I mined iron nearby, I guess. That is... Or ion. Oh, sorry. No, that's different. Oh, that might have been the devs. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, maybe they're calling me... No, I don't know. That could be a single-player thing, or it could be the people who made it. Anyways, we'll just ignore that. But it gets really in-depth because you can see who's been near your base, what they've done around it, things like that. It's really cool. Showing map here, obviously. And then, of course, you have the map. But this is where things get crazy. So we can go into space, right? Well, here's space. So this is the current sector we are in space. So this is a whole system, and we're in this small sector here. So if I fly into space right now, I can fly to the moon and Aqua without any kind of warp core, warp drive, or anything like that. If I want to go to other locations in the system, my SV would need to have a warp drive, and if I want to leave this system, I would need my CV to have a warp drive, and I can literally get it out of this whole entire system. So early on, you probably don't have a CV that can just warp out. You'll have a small one so you can go to other places and get other resources. So let's go over here, for example. We can check, well, I saw an asteroid belt here, right? So I can click this, and then I can bring off the information panel, which is really important, by the way. And I can go here. So if we click this, oh, there it is, asteroid field. So it tells you different information about it, things like this. Undiscovered, because no one's actually discovered it. But these ones will tell you what's in the system. So Alpha Moon, it tells you which resources. So you can see you have Pentexid. Oh, that's good information, because on our planet right now, we have no Pentexid. But on the moon, we do, probably. Can I click the moon, or are we going to be a butt? Oh, we're in sector information. Sorry. That was space information. Sorry. So, yeah, Aqua, and then the Aqua moon. There you go. So you can see you have Pentexid. Well, Pentexid is actually fuel for your warp drive. So basically, you'll need this. So basically, you'll build a ship, you'll go to the moon, you'll harvest that, then you can put it in your ship, and then you can actually go elsewhere in the system. And it just goes on and on and on. So, yeah, I was doing space, but let's go over here. These planets are crazy. Here's an alpha whatever. So you can see there's other resources here. So there's aluminium, stuff like that. And it gets crazier. Like, the further you go out there, there's gold and other rare resources out there to mine. And then, of course, you have the galaxy. And this, my friends, is the galaxy. And it is big. It's not small in any way. Yes. Look how cool this is. So there's even, like, separated little galaxies over here. So Seas of Silence. There's Decay. So they even have ones that are further out. And I think that's because they either are harder to get to or maybe need a different method to get there, which is kind of cool. But, like, literally when you look at there must be, what, thousands and thousands? And then you can split them in territories. And, yeah, these are, like, literally, like, now you're looking at EVE Online, basically, territory-wise. So this tells you, like, who is who and where is, you know, everyone. And it's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, and then you got information panel as well. So you can go, I mean, you can go all the way down here and just click a random planet, or sorry, a system. Excuse me, I did not mean to cough. But it goes on and on. You can tell there's literally thousands, if not tens of thousands. Look at all those dots. But we can go here, and there you go. I guess it's just based on what you're locked on here. So there you go. So you can look on there. You can't see the solar system because you have no clue. Well, this is where we are. But you have no clue what's in these systems yet, obviously. But and you can search systems. So home world. I'm sure there's a home world. Actually, I don't know if there's home worlds. Home. There you go. Oh, they have the word home in them. So they used to, I think, at one time use the word home world, but they might not anymore. You can even search all the types. So these are probably the star types. That'd be my guess, yeah. But it's a really cool system. You got your control panel for your devices. You can do latches, RS latches. It has like a little bit of, not redstone, but it has like mechanics where you can do different latches, and so you turn on a switch and this switch can do this and that, and you know, it's pretty cool and complex. But either way, yeah, this game is quite honestly a fun game. That's why I just wanted to show you the very basics. There is so much to this game. Please trust me when I say you could spend literally thousands of hours on Reforged Eden alone. When I ran it last time, I'm pretty sure we literally had people who played for like over several hundred hours when I looked at the logs. So it shows you that people do play for a very, very long time. And all the planets are different. They're different variations. You got all the POIs I told you about. It's just really cool. If you love farming and looking for loot and stuff, you'll definitely enjoy all the varieties of POIs. You know, spending hours or even 10 minutes on some of them. 10 minutes are pretty quick actually on some of them, and that's, you know, like the smallest POIs that you normally see on here are going to be bigger than any POI you've ever seen in Cubic Odyssey, because that's just how it is. Like, basically the entire castle palace that you'll see eventually in Cubic Odyssey is probably the equal to, you know, one of the smaller size POIs in here, because a lot of the POIs in this look fancy on the top. They might look small, but then they go underground. They actually have lots of like basement. I think majority of them usually have kind of basements to them, which is really cool. So, but either way, my friends, I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about Empyrion. I wanted to hear your thoughts about Empyrion Reforged Eden. Wanted to hear your thoughts about running a server. And your thoughts of me kind of like putting Cubic Odyssey sort of on the sideline, but not forever. Like something I've never done. Usually when I'm done a game, I'm done it. But, you know, keep coming back after, you know, from time to time when there's updates and changes that are suitable enough for me to say, hey, let's play an episode or two of that, because there's enough new content for that to change things quite a bit and enjoy. So, but yeah, I just want to hear what your thoughts are. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, these guys... Usually you want to probably craft a pistol. Oh yeah, we do have this. I almost thought that didn't work because it looks like the icon looks like a crafting. That's probably what somebody thought would be cute. But so here you go. So now you can take, say, you know, the materials we had. So you can take copper, for example. And I think you need 5, unfortunately. Yeah, so we don't have enough. So you can take, you know, your 5 copper and turn it into ingots. Do I have something? There you go. I got the silicon. Yeah, you get 5 silicon. Oh, sorry, yeah. So you get 5 silicon ore, and it gives you 10. Yeah, same with that. So you actually double it, sort of like what we do in our Cubic Odyssey. Look at this electronics. Everything is so different. It looks so fancy. Holy crap, it's like a whole new game. Some things, no. They look exactly the same. But a lot of other things have changed quite a bit, especially in the components area. Wow. It'll take some time to get used to because you're not used to it. Yeah. You got different... This is just the baby stuff. There's like usually like a whole list of things you can get to help you when you get injured. Though they've nerfed it a bit, made it better because it was too much. I don't know where you can look for this. Yeah, tips and tricks. They used to have a thing here, and they probably do somewhere. Status effects. Here you go. Negative status effects. Positive status effects. Medical consumables. Medical device. Okay, so they might have nerfed the information down. Or maybe you'll unlock it somewhere else. There used to be so much information based on, like... what everything does and what you use to cure it and things like that. But I know they wanted to make it more enjoyable, because back in the day when you ran these POIs, basically the way it worked was, you'd spend half your time, oh, what do I need for this ailment? Okay, I treat it, then I get a bandage myself, and then kind of like Cubic Odyssey now, like, okay, I almost get one shot and I'm almost dead. And they've also fixed up the difficulty over time, so it shouldn't be so bad on normal. Normal was hard before, and the scaling was really crazy, because level 1 to 10, but literally the level 1 POIs were the same as the level 10 POIs in loot. It was just the mobs, and their damage and HP was crazy. But that should be fixed. I think they do like 1 to 3 basically. You might get up to level 4 potentially, but overall, yeah, it should be a lot more enjoyable. But like I said, thousands of hours easily on this. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. I've explained what I want to explain. I hope you guys support the idea. I hope you guys will consider watching my Empyrion series, because it's kind of cool. All the friends I've made playing Cubic Odyssey, and all the people who have joined, and that's really cool. And I just hope I can pique your interest in Empyrion, because honestly, it's very similar in many ways that a lot of people don't realize. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like. Have a good day. Bye.